How much would it cost to staff the coalition's 7 proposed nuclear sites with firefighters? And what are firefighters' concerns about community safety? The Gippsland Monitor spoke to the United Firefighters Union of Australia's National Secretary Greg McConville to find out.
In terms of fire stations and equipping them with the relevant trucks and personal protective equipment, that's a sum of $446 million in capital that no one has accounted for at this stage. So it's a major hole in these costings, and it's very concerning that no one seems to have really turned their minds to firefighter safety or community safety in putting these proposals forward. When you apply the shift roster that commonly applies in firefighting, you find that suddenly you need 34 firefighters in the plant to maintain that 5 at all times and 34 outside. So that's actually 68 firefighters employed at each nuclear facility. That is a salaries bill approaching $80 million a year that just hasn't been accounted for. The community responsibility would be left with state governments and territory governments, unless the Commonwealth is suddenly going to come up with money. So you'd have to get that funding from fire services that are already stretched. I don't need to remind your readers of the Morwell open cut fire, where the quality of the air was toxic. It was terrible for people. Lots of people got ill. And it's argued that as a result of that illness, people died. And then you move ahead to an even higher risk. You start to get a bit worried about what it actually means for the community if a worst case scenario were to unfold. So we balance that whole thing up and say, well, if there are safer alternatives, why would you risk this? Already we're looking at a cost of living election, but we're also being asked to consider at the same time the cost of lives. And that's a very cruel thing to be asking the community.